prime time, y'all niggas should've left with my 9. Bust a shot, hit the cop, and that's a federal crime. But before I go to jail and do the federal time, eat my wife's pussy, incredible edible dime. Petro said, fuck it, you can do it again. Let the scat blow, fucking now I'm losing the frame. Sean Price is the best around. Niggas Ray Charles with it, doing the damn mess around. I will back out the iron and press this clown. I will smack fire from lion and wet this clown. No joke, rock him all law. Fucking drive by me and I'ma pop at your car. Listen, push that crack, push that rap, good. When I push that lack, you look at that hood. Wanna know who the fuck I'm signed to? What difference do it make, bitch? Listen to the tape dick.
Bitch, I give a fuck what you're thinking. Fuck your thoughts. I'm God, and bitch you now.
Yeah,
and bitch you now.
Listen, I'll be that insane nigga from the psycho ward. Insane nigga from the psycho ward. Be that insane nigga from the psycho ward. Insane nigga, insane nigga. Be that insane nigga from the psycho ward. Insane nigga from the psycho ward. Be that insane nigga from the psycho ward. Insane nigga, insane. I'll be that insane nigga from the psycho ward. Insane nigga from the psycho ward. Be that insane nigga from the psycho ward. Insane nigga, insane nigga. Be that insane nigga from the psycho ward. Insane nigga from the psycho ward. Be that insane nigga from the psycho ward. Insane nigga, insane nigga.
Turn me up. Yeah. He came back in the same suit that he was buried in, similar to the one his grandfather was married in. Yes, he was still fresh to death, blamed 2 earrings, a chain laying on his chest. He still had it cause they couldn't find it, and the bullets from his enemies sat like 2 inches behind it. Smelled the Hennessy from when his niggas got reminded, and poured out liquor in his memory. He didn't mind it, but he couldn't sip it fast enough, so the liquor was just filling the casket up. Floating down by his feet was the letter from his sister. 2nd grade handwriting, simply read, I miss ya. Suit jacket pocket held his baby daughter's picture. Right next to it, one of his men stuck a swisher. He had a notion as he laid there soaking. He saw that the latch was broken. He kicked his casket open and he, this life goes passing you by. It might go fast if you lie. You born, you live, then you die. Oh, 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 oh. If life goes passing you by, don't cry. If you're breaking the rules, making your moves, paying your dues, chasing the cool. Not at all nervous as he dug to the surface. Tarnished gold chain is what he loosened up the earth with. He used his mouth as a shovel to try and hollow it, and when he couldn't dirt spit, he swallowed it, working like a reverse archaeologist. Except his buried treasure was sunshine, so when some shine through a hole that he had drove, it reflected off the gold and almost made some blind. He grabbed onto some grass and climbed, pulled himself up out of his own grave, and looked at the time on the watch that had stopped 6 months after the shots that had got him in the box, wringing Henny out his socks. Figured it was hours because he wasn't older. Used some flowers to brush the dirt up off his shoulders. So with a right hand that was all bones and no reason to stay, he decided to walk home. So he, this life goes passing you by. It might go fast if you lie. You born, you live, then you die. Oh, 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 oh. If life goes passing you by, don't cry. If you're breaking the rules, making your moves, paying your dues, chasing the cool. He begged for some change to get him on the train. Damn, the nigga stank is what they complain. Tried to light the blunt, but it burst into flames. Caught the reflection in the window of what he became. A long look, wasn't shook, wasn't ashamed. Matter of fact, only thing on his brain was brains. Yeah, and getting back in his lane, doing his thing. First he had to find something to sling. Next stop was his block, it had the same cops. Walked right past the same spot where he was shot. Shocked that some little niggas tried to sell him rocks. It just felt weird being on the opposite. They figured that he wasn't from there, so they pulled out and robbed him with the same gun they shot him with. Put it to his head and said, "You scared, ain't you?" He said, "Hustler for death, no heaven for a gangster." This life goes passing you by. It might go fast if you lie. You born, you live, then you die. Oh, 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 oh. If life goes passing you by, don't cry. If you're breaking the rules, making your
Tired of getting shot at, tired of getting chased by the police and arrested. Niggas need a spot where we can kick it, a spot where we belong, that's just for us. Niggas ain't gotta get all dressed up and be Hollywood. You know what I mean? Where do niggas go when we die? Ain't no heaven for a thug nigga. That's why we go to Thug Mansion. That's the only place where thugs getting free and you gotta be a G. At Thug Mansion. A place to spend my quiet nights, time to unwind, so much pressure in this life of mine. I cried times I once contemplated suicide and would have tried, but when I held that knife, all I could see was my mama's eyes. No one knows my struggle, they only see the trouble, not knowing it's hard to carry on when no one loves you. Picture me inside the misery of poverty. No man alive has ever witnessed struggles I survived. Praying hard for better days, promise to hold on. Me and my dogs ain't have a choice but to roll on. We found a finally spot to kick it, where we could drink liquor and know what bickers over trick shit. A spot where we can smoke in peace. And even though we G's, we still visualize places that we can roll in peace. And in my mind's eye, I see this place the players going past. I got a spot for us all, so we can ball at Thug's Mansion. Will I survive all the fights in the darkness? Trouble sparks. They tell me home is where the heart is, dear departed. I shed tattooed tears and couldn't sleep good for multiple years. Witness peers, cats, gunshots, nobody cares. Seen the politicians ban us, they rather see us locked in chains. Please explain why they can't stand us. Is there a way for me to change? Or am I just a victim of things I did to maintain? I need a place to rest my head with a little bit of homeboys that remain. Cause all the rest there. Is there a spot for us to grow? If you find it, I'll be right behind you. Show me and I'll go. How can I be peaceful? I'm coming from the bottom. Watch my daddy scream peace while the other man shot him. I need a house that's full of love when I need to escape the deadly places slinging drugs in Thug's Mansion. Ain't no place I'd rather be. Ain't no place. Paradise in the sky. I need a place for me. Mama, don't cry, your baby boy's doing good. Tell the homies I'm in heaven and they ain't got hoods. Seen a show with Marvin Gaye last night. It had me shook, dripping peppermint schnapps with Jackie Wilson and Sam Cooke. Then some lady named Billie Holiday sang, sitting there kicking it with Malcolm till the day came. Little Natasha show grown, tell the lady in the liquor store that she's forgiven. So come home, maybe in time you understand. Only God can save us. When Miles Davis cutting loose with the band, just think all the people that you knew in the past that passed on, they in heaven found peace that lasts. Picture a place that they exist together. There has to be a place better than this in heaven. So right before I sleep, dear God, what I'm asking, remember this face, save me a place in Thug's Mansion. Paradise in the sky.
All my life, man. You know, I won the title a couple of times, did right. You know what I mean? But they can't hurt us, man. We're gonna do it. Get up in this ring, man. Put on these gloves. Let me show you how to handle yourself, man. You don't got nobody out there with you. I got to show you, man. Get up in here. Move that head, man. Come on to me, man. But when you come, man, you gotta come for blood, man. Come up to me, man. Come on, bust that nigga hole, man. Them niggas talking that shit about you. Main objective out here to do nothing but eat MC'd for lunch, breakfast. Hey, man, they've been playing me all my life, man. You know, I won the title a couple of times, did right. But they can't hurt us, man. We gonna do it. Get up in this ring, man. Put on these gloves. Let me show you how to handle
I'ma let the world know the truth. You don't want me to shine. You study my rhyme, then you laser vocals at the mind. That's a bitch move. And if you really wanna show off, we can get it on live in front of the cameras on your own sitcom. I let you kick the verse, fuck it, I let you kick them all. I'd even wait for the studio audience to applaud. Now watch me rip the tap from your arm, kick you in the groin, stick you for your Vanguard award in front of your mom, your first, second, and third born. Make your wife get on the horn, call Minister Farrakhan so he can persuade me to squash it. I say no, he started it. He forgot what a hardcore artist is. A hardcore artist is a dangerous man, such as myself, trained to run 20 miles of soft sand, on or off land, programmed to kick hundreds of bars off land from a lost and forgotten land. You done did it, man. You done spitted some wax shit and probably thought that because it's been a minute I forget it. Fuck that, cause like I'm in the cube, I see the bitch in you, and I'ma make the world see it too, motherfucker.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new lyrical weight champion by second round knockout, 3 minutes and 40 seconds.
Alright. Peace and Black Power family. It's your boy Psychopath Black Action. Now I mean, with another debate for the 2026 debate season. Let me get some ones out there. Let's make sure everybody can hear us clearly before I get into all this. Let's see. Let me get some shout outs while I'm waiting. Let me see. Let's see. Shout out to Mansa was good. Ortep was going on. Free DNA test for Abos was good. Hello Regular was going on with you. V-Note, what up? Corey was hood. See, Scar Beauty was going on. Old Student was good. GQ, what up? Erica was going on with you. Lou, what it do? Pandemics was going on. Who else? Who else? Thurman was good. Domo was going on. Who else? Chocolate was good with you. Who else up in here? JJ, what up? Emmanuel was good. Wozy, what up? Who else? If I'm missing people. Kasha was good. Tails was going on. Blue Blaze was good with you. Honey was going on. Who else? Brother Rob was good. B1 for life, what up? Did I get everybody? I think I did. Shout out to everybody else out there that might be listening or slide through. If I missed you, my bad. What's going on, family? How y'all? What's the word? Y'all already know. We got another debate here tonight for the 2026 debate season. And as you can see in the title, the debate topic tonight is the biblical story of Jesus' death historically accurate, right? So let's bring up our two combatants for the night. Let's see, we got Brother Courtney up here. Let's see, and we got Suave. What's going on, Suave? How you?
Black Power, you already know. What's good, God?
All right, what's good, Courtney?
Peace to the host, peace to Suave, peace to the chat, shouts out to the bar.
All right, y'all already know. And yeah, let's let everybody know what the format's going to be for tonight. The format tonight, family, it's going to be the standard 5-minute opening. We're going to have a 10-minute premise, a 10-minute rebuttal, a 10-minute rapid fire, and then a 5-minute closing. All right, so that's going to be the format for tonight. Let's see, and if I'm correct, Courtney, you are the affirmative. Am I correct? Okay, that's what's up. All right, so you two brothers got any questions?
I just need your measurements for your suit. Need to know how tall you is. And, I'll get the rest of the information later, brother. Shout out to you.
Sounds good.
Yes, sir.
All right, so that's what's up. All right, so we're gonna get ready to get into this opening round. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Let me get this clock together and everything. Let's see. All right, we good. All right, so there we go. Good luck to both of y'all. I'm about to drop y'all in the back. We're going to get ready for this opening round. All right, so let's bring up Courtney. Will you be sharing your screen, Courtney?
Yes, I will.
All right, so give me 1 second. All right. Okay, so you got your screen together. Okay, cool. All right, so let me know whenever you're ready.
All right, let me make sure it's loading up first.
Okay. Make sure you got that together. All right. You straight?
I'm ready.
Oh, you ready? All right, right after the bell.
All right. All right. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming to tonight's debate. Again, I am Cut 'em Up Court, the Barbarian. Shouts out to the bar. I'm about to execute good old Suave tonight. Our topic is very interesting. Is the biblical story of Jesus' death historically accurate? Strictly speaking, tonight's debate is not about anything regarding my doctrine before or after Jesus' death or anything like that. So his birth, is he God? How many disciples did he have, or post-burial appearances? None of this is actually part of tonight's debate, even if he rose from the dead. Tonight's debate, again, is the biblical story of Jesus' death historically accurate? Now, of course, there's a major elephant in the room. What do we mean when we say historically accurate? Well, according to this reference, and this is a high school AP, you can find this reference also in many academic publishing works. This is the definition of historical accurate. Historical accuracy refers to the extent in which historical accounts, narratives, and interpretations faithfully represent the facts and events as they occurred in the past. So we know we will be looking at the New Testament because it is the primary sources according to this Columbia University publication. And this is a regular reference work, by the way. Primary sources for Jesus, historical Jesus, are the four canonical Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. All four of them attest to Jesus' death by Pontiff Pilate via crucifixion. We also have secondary references to look at Jesus, right? So that means we got Roman sources and Jewish sources I will be bringing up. There's more I could bring up, but I'm just limiting for brevity of tonight's discussion to these three additional non-biblical sources on the account of Jesus' death. So the first one we have here is Tacitus, who's a Roman historian. He mentions that a guy named Christus was executed under Pontiff Pilate. Isn't that interesting? During the reign of Tiberius, this is very interesting. This gives us a historical time period. Two particular emperors and a subordinate to the emperor in the region of Judea, Pilate, and an individual with this execution. Then we got two Jewish sources. We're going to look at Josephus a little bit, Antiquity of the Jews, Book 18, Section 64, where Josephus records the record of Jesus' death via execution and crucifixion under Pontiff Pilate as well. We also have the reference in the Talmudic literature. The Talmudic literature mentions that Jesus is actually a polemical source. Okay, so polemics meaning like it was debated and they were debating, speaking negatively. So it's a very hostile witness about Yeshu or Yeshua, Jesus. Even though it is a hostile witness, it records Jesus' death around the time of Passover and him being hung by means of being killed. Now, we got an abundance of scholars and podcasters. The podcasters at the bottom, Myth Vision, Gnostic Informant, and even Garfield, all used to be very heavily relying on the mythical Jesus narrative. Jesus didn't die because he was a myth. They have changed their views, and I would say with good reason. Many of these people are interviewing scholars like Paula Fredrickson and others, Bart Ehrman, critical scholars in the field, and they've changed their own perspective because the historical evidence is quite overwhelming. You even got black scholars that affirm it was executed by means of crucifixion. Black power, shouts out to you, Swab. Yes, black scholars even affirm this. And we can't forget about the fantastic black scholar by the name of Vince Bantu, who had a debate with Jabari on some of these related issues. So this is a very widespread consensus perspective that Jesus historically died, and that the Gospels do comport with the historical records that also confirm the very same historical events. So this is something we need to take into consideration, guys, because the conclusion for tonight's debate is yes. The historical evidence affirms that Jesus actually did die. The crucifixion of Jesus is one of the most historically attested events in antiquity, confirmed by Christian and non-Christian sources, with virtually unanimous agreement by modern historians. I appreciate y'all's time.
Hey, fam. Damn. All right, family. There you go. That's the end of Courtney's opening. Let's bring up Brother Swab so we can get his opening.
Black Power. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you fine. Yeah, I'm just getting your clock together.
All right, bet. Let's get it.
You want me to share your screen?
Yeah, you can put it up, brother. Hold on. No, wait. No.
You're not going to be sharing your screen?
No.
Okay. All right. So let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready, brother.
Right to the bell.
Yes, sir. Yeah, this is boy Swab Boss. I'm the negative in this debate. Is the biblical story of Jesus' death historically accurate? A lot of words, one sentence. It means something. I'm here to defend against the affirmative that it is. To me, personally, this debate is very detrimental. The thought of it being historically accurate is very detrimental to reality, very detrimental to history. My brother Courtney, choosing the affirmative, has chosen to hold the obligation that he has the evidence to bring something that's never been brought together ever together. And I'm saying I challenge you. Now, I'm going to give a definition because I feel like that's very vital to this conversation. And the definition of historically is in accordance with or with respect to history. And so let's respect history. Definition of history is a chronological record of significant events, in parentheses, such as those affecting the nation or institution, often including an explanation of their cause. That's important to me. To understand the words historically being supported by history is just something I can't see him getting past. I don't know what evidence he's going to bring outside of the slight opening he just showed, but nevertheless. Also, the definition of accurate, which is included in the title and is very pivotal to the debate, is free from error, especially as a result of care. So despite what you care for, what you believe, if there's an error in it, it's not accurate. And if it's not proven with evidence, it's not historical. To jump to conclusions, to beg the question is not what this debate is about. This debate is about him coming straight up the middle, showing you that Jesus' death, according to the Bible, has historical evidence backing it, proving it to be accurate. To me, that's impossible. To him, it's worth at least having a debate about and scoring pretty high. I'm cool with that. So we'll see how much of control of the information that he has. But I guarantee you it's all false and it has no legs. It'll go nowhere. So remember, in the opening, I'm showing you what the debate is about. Historically accurate. Jesus' death according to the Bible. So I'm going to go to the Bible, which is the source that we've chosen to go to. And depending on what his premise is, then we will see where this goes. But other than that, it's a straight up the middle run for me. Historically accurate Jesus' death according to the Bible. Now, I may add that things have been recorded for a long time. Over 300,000 years, we have evidence of people burying people, evidence of writings recording things that was later proven. We have historians. Some people call, one person in particular called the father of history, who is Herodotus, whose writings led to a sunken city that people described a sunken city of gold. It was a city of gold that sunk. Herodotus wrote about it. Later on, thousands of years later, the writings were discovered, and the sunken city that he wrote about was proven to be true. Now, to me, Herodotus, in that case, was historically accurate. I do not see my opponent bringing together, composing information or evidence that brings a solid case of that. So I'm here to see what he got. Shout out to Courtney, man. Shout out to the AOI. Shout out to the Bar, man. Shout out to the Barbarian. Shout out to Psycho. Shout out to Angel. Shout out to Dr. Mo. Shout out to Shiz B. Shout out to the people. And shout out to my peers. This the boy Swab Boss, man. And I'm out. See y'all in the next round.
All right, there you go, family. That's the end of the opening round. So now we can get ready for the premise round. So let's get into that real quick. All right, let's bring up Brother Courtney so we can get to his premise. Let me get his clock together. Okay. All right, so let me know whenever you're ready, Courtney.
I'm ready.
All right after the bell.
All right, everybody, let's remember tonight's debate topic. Is the biblical story of Jesus's death historically accurate? Now, I will, number one, be going over some historical methodology, looking at the primaries and secondary sources, scholarly consensus, and last but not least, we're going to make a comparative analysis as it relates to the evidence. And I'm going to ask you guys to be honest as it relates to that. Now, my focus in tonight's debate is going to be that the evidence is overwhelming, and there's a reason why non-believing, believing, Black, whatever race, ethnicity you choose to identify, scholars are in wide agreement concerning the death of Jesus. All right, first let's get into the historical methodology situation. So, just to let you guys know, history is justified by means of probability, not certainty. Okay? In other words, historical accuracy in the ancient Near East is not about absolute certainty, but about probable assessments. And I'm arguing that the preponderance of evidence tonight is pretty overwhelming and against my opponent's position. The historical method that historians imply is a rigorous methodology involving source criticism, contextual analysis, and collaboration of the records. Again, it is a high probability that as it relates to the death of Jesus, we have primary and secondary references converging on the same situation. And we must be aware. My opponent did throw a major straw man out there. History isn't justified by means of unanimous records. That is very problematic. Ancient records are often going to have differences between them. If they are all exactly the same and without error, there's probably collaboration going on. In the case of my evidence tonight, that would not be self-evident. All right. So again, I got multiple attestation. I got temple proximity. These records are early, fairly early, historically speaking. They're independent records of each other, and they're all consistently in agreement on the same thing. Jesus died via crucifixion under the hands of Pontius Pilate, which is sometime in the 30s CE. All right. So let's look at some of these probability assessments. The convergence of the independent sources demonstrates a multitude of independent sources that attest to the same event: Jesus' death, his execution, and crucifixion. In the case of Jesus, we have the 4 Gospels, 2 Jewish sources, and a Roman source. So that's a total of 7 sources that I'm willing to discuss in tonight's debate concerning the evidence. And I understand he doesn't like 4 of them, so we still got 3 non-biblical sources confirming the same content. All right, there's a historical principle at play here. The convergence of multiple independent accounts significantly increases the probability of an event's historicity, even when secondary details vary between their sources. This is the foundation upon which historians establish the facts about the past. As we look in the top right, you're going to see that the crucifixion of Jesus easily goes far and beyond, putting the statistical range for his death, historically speaking, in a very, very high range. All right, so again, the multiple witnesses. Multiple witness principle is a cornerstone of historical methodology. When multiple independent sources attest to the same event, that event usually carries the weight that it actually occurred. All right, so that's something everybody needs to, I'm drilling it in because I think it's necessary to remember. Again, 7 sources, independent of each other, 3 different cultural perspectives, 6 Jewish sources, 4 Gospels, Josephus Talmud, 1 Roman. So this is a plethora of opinions concerning the issues, and arguably Luke is not even a Jew. So the high probability of Jesus' death being historically accurate is pretty much certain. We're going to look a little bit more at these 4 gospel accounts. Now, unless you guys didn't know this, the gospels were not written to one community dependently upon each other. They were written to different particular locations. For Christians, yes, but to different locations, to different audiences, with the same historical reality concerning the death of Jesus being in all 4 of them. And they have differences between them. You don't find the same record concerning the sign that's above Jesus' head in all 4 of these gospels, but you do find convergence on his death, the time period, Pilate, all of these things. They all converge on these issues. So the scholarly note to take away here is that the crucifixion of Jesus is the single most attested and certain event in the life of the historical Jesus, according to Craig Blumberg. He's a very well-respected historian of antiquity and New Testament. Secondary sources, you got Josephus, right? So there is some dispute concerning the Josephus account, because what does Josephus say? He says that Pilate, at the suggestion of principal men, Jewish elites among us, had condemned him to the cross. In that statement alone, you have confirmation of Jesus' death. He also mentioned Pilate and the means of death for one individual, namely Jesus. Now, yes, this account has been disputed amongst many scholars, but the overwhelming majority of them affirm a core tradition that is including this section. The other thing to take in consideration is a recent publication by T.C. Smith, who actually argues the totality of the work is authentic with the exception of one phrase in the testimony of Flavian. But that phrase is only if he was the Christ or the so-called Christ. Outside of this, Josephus is a hostile witness concerning Jesus. Roman sources. So you got Tacitus and his Annals, book 15, chapter 44. He mentions a corruption of the word Christ from Latin and Greek translations, from whom the name has its origin, suffered the extreme penalty during the reign of Tiberius at the hands of one of our procreators, Pontius Pilate. So we have here another account from a non-New Testament source, confirming Pilate, the means of death that Jesus suffered, an extreme penalty, because it was only the Romans that had the ability to execute people during this time period. This is interesting because he's a Roman. He's also very careful with the Roman sources he's utilizing, and being an affiliate of the state, he's not going to speak negatively over the legit judgments of his own peers. Lastly, as it relates to Jewish sources, you got the Talmud. Now, the Talmud, as I stated earlier, is a polemic work. It is fairly late, but some of the information within it contains information with Jesus, concerning Jesus. You actually find a whole birth tradition concerning Jesus that's arguing against the New Testament's account of Jesus's birth. But part of their record about Jesus is his death, that he dies on the eve of Passover. They hung Yeshua. Now, in Hebrew, there's only one way to mention crucifixion, and that is by means of the language of hung. So that's something to take witness to and to remember, very importantly. So that's sort of going to sum it up regarding the secondary and primary sources and what they speak on concerning Jesus. Again, there's a diverse amount of agreement by scholars concerning this fact of Jesus's death via crucifixion under the hand of Pontius Pilate. Believing, non-believing, black, white, all races in general agree to this. Very few scholars disagree, and they've been taken to task by the majority of scholars in the field. And most of the ones that disagree actually do not have professorship. The most widely attested death of any Jew of this time period is, believe it or not, Jesus's death. Again, we have 7 records that account for Jesus's death. But now we're going to have to look at the evidence for James, just to make this comparative analysis a little more understandable for people. So when we look at the evidence for Jesus, we got 4 Gospels, Josephus, Talmud, Tacitus, all of these sources, at minimum 7, that mention and converge on the same information. The Gospels and New Testament don't even mention how James died. But we do have one record for James' death in Josephus. And biblical scholars, historians, Roman scholars generally are in agreement that James died, and we have evidence of this in the Josephine record. That's really all that's needed. All right. So if you're looking for bones, that's an extraneous request on the historical process. And for tonight's debate, I'm just going to...
All right, family. That's the end of Courtney's premise. Let's bring up Suave and let's get him together for his premise. Let me get his clock together.
Mic check, mic check.
You good?
Let's get it.
All right, let me know when you're ready.
Man, I'm ready, brother. You see my definition on the screen? I want to make sure my screen changes.
Well, I see. Yeah, it changed. It changed.
Okay. We in the building.
Okay. Right to the bell.
So, just so y'all wouldn't have to take my word for it, to actually present information and evidence that support my argument, the definition of historically from the Merriam-Webster dictionary in accordance with or respect to history. So, the definition of history, a chronological record of significant events, such as those affecting a nation or institution, often including an explanation of their causes. And the definition of accurate, free from error, especially as a result of. Actually, the Bible, here we go. And so we have 4 books of the Bible that claims testament to Jesus' death. Let's go through them briefly. This is the crucifixion of Jesus, according to Matthew 27:32-56. Okay. As they were going out, they met a man from Cyrene named Simon, and they forced him to carry the cross. There's a cross. They came to place God at Golgotha, which means the place of the skull. There's a skull. There they offered Jesus wine and drink mixed with gall, but after tasting it, he refused to drink it. When they have crucified him, they divided up his clothes by casting lots. His clothes, they ripped his clothes. And sitting down, they kept watch over him there. Above his head, they placed a written charge against him. There's a board with some written on it. There is Jesus, the King of Jews. This is Jesus, the King of Jews. 38. Two rebels were crucified with him, one on his right and one on his left. Those who passed by her insults at him, shaking their heads and saying, "You who are going to destroy the temple and build it in 3 days, save yourself. Come down from the cross, if you are the Son of God." In the same way, the chief priests, the teachers of the law, and the elders mocked him. He saved others, they said, but he can't save himself. He's the King of Israel. Let him come down now from the cross, and we will believe in him. He trusts in God. Let God rescue him now if he wants him. For he said, "I am the Son of God." In the same way, the rebels who were crucified with him also heaped insults on him. The death of Jesus. From noon until 3 in the afternoon, darkness came over all the land. So there's a darkness that actually happens according to the Bible. After 3 in the afternoon, Jesus cried. That's 3 hours. From noon to 3 in the afternoon, Jesus cried out in a loud voice, "Eli, Eli, sabachthani," which means, my God, how will they forsaken me?" When some of those standing there heard this, they said, "He's calling Elijah." Immediately, one of them ran, got a sponge. He filled it with wine vinegar, put it on a staff, and offered it to Jesus to drink. The rest said, "Now leave him alone. Let's see if Elijah come to save him." And when Jesus cried out again in a loud voice, he gave up his spirit. At that moment, the curtain of the temple, there's a temple with a curtain, was torn in two from the top to the bottom. There's a torn curtain. The earth shook, there's an earthquake, the rock split, there's a disastrous earthquake, and the tombs broke open. There's a miraculous earthquake. The bodies of many holy people who had died were raised to life. There's a zombie infestation. They came out of the tombs after Jesus' resurrection and went into the holy city. It appeared to many people. According to the Bible, the biblical testimony of Jesus' death, earthquakes, land breaking up, curtains of temples being torn, and people coming back from the dead. Okay, so that's Matthew. Let's go to Mark, right? So, Jesus anointed in Bethany. Now, the Passover festival, and the Passover is very important, and I'll tell you why later. The festival of unleavened bread were only 2 days away, and the chief priests and the teachers of the law were scheming to arrest Jesus secretly to kill him. That's an event. Should have been recorded by the people who was doing it. The Last Supper, cool. God to me, cool. Jesus is arrested. Jesus, as he was speaking, Judas, one of the 12, appeared with him in the crowd, armed with swords and clubs, sent from chief priests, the teachers of the law, and the elders. Now the betrayer had arranged a signal with him. The one kiss is the man. Arrest him and lead him away under guard. Going at once to Jesus, Judas said, "Rabbi," and kissed him. The man seized Jesus and arrested him. There's an arrest by Caesar, right? The one of those standing there drew his sword and struck the servant of the high priest, cutting his ear. Cool. All right. Jesus before the Sanhedrin. They took Jesus to the high priest, and all the chiefs and the elders and the teachers of the law came together. Peter followed him at a distance, right into the courtyard of the high priest. There he sat with the guards and warmed himself at the fire. The chief priests and the whole Sanhedrin were looking for evidence against Jesus. There's an investigation so that they could put him to death, but they did not find any. Cool. Let's go down to when Peter disowns him. Which, while Peter was below the courtyard, in the courtyard, one of the servant girls of the high priest came. When Peter saw him warning, she looked closely. "You are with Nazarene Jesus Christ," she said, but he denied it. This is one of the 12 disciples, one of the close people in the courtyard. That should be recorded at this time, right? So now let's go to Luke, the crucifixion of Jesus. As the soldiers led him away, they seized Simon from Cyrene, who was on his way from the country, and put the cross on him and made him carry the cross. There's the physical cross. A large number of people follow him, including women who mourn and wail for him. Jesus turned and said to them, daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me. These are people who are testifying, right? Weep for them. I mean, that's witnessing this. Weep for themselves and your children, for the time will come when you will say, blessed are the childless woman, the wounds that were never bore and the breasts were never nursed. Then, okay, for if the people would have seen, for if the people do these things with a tree green, will it happen when it's dry? Two other men, criminals, were also laid out and be executed. There's two other people being executed with them. When they came to a place called the Skull, they crucified them there along with the criminals. This is 3 executions being done, should have been recorded in history. One on his right, the other on his left. Jesus said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they are doing. And they divided up his clothes by casting lots. So there's physical clothes of the God that came down in the flesh, that died for everybody's sins. The people stood watching, and the rulers even sneered at him. They said, he saved others, let him save himself. So there's multiple people saying the same thing. One of the criminals who hung, this is 39, one of the criminals who hung there hurled insults at him. Aren't you the Messiah? Save yourself and save us. But the other criminal rebuked him. Don't you fear God, he said, since you are under the same sentence. This is 2 different books, Luke and Mark, and Luke and Matthew recording this conversation. So there should be an intricate detailing of other conversations. Now let's go to John. Okay. 19 and 17. Carrying his own cross, once again, 3 books identifying this cross that Jesus walked and bore with. He went out to the place of the skull, Golgotha, which in Aramaic is called Golgotha. Remember, they crucified him. And with him 2 others on each side of Jesus in the middle. Pilate had noticed, prepared, and fastened the cross. It read, Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews. So this is 2 books identifying this wooden plate put above God's head in the flesh, identify him as Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews. Many of the Jews read the sign, for the place where Jesus was crucified was near the city, and the sign was written in Aramaic, Latin, and Greek, 3 different languages. The chief priests of the Jews protested to Pilate, do not write the King of the Jews, but that this man claimed to be the King of the Jews. Pilate answered, what I have written, I have written. And so Pilate, a very documented man, wrote this wooden sign in 3 different languages, should have been recorded by 3 different cultures, saying, here is Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews. Okay. So when the soldiers crucified Jesus, they took his clothes, physical evidence, dividing them into 4 shares, one of each of them with the undergarment remaining. The garment was seamless, woven in one piece from top to bottom. Bet. Now, near the cross, the Jesus stood his mother. Okay, she should have some type of recordation. Later, knowing everything will be finished, so the scripture will be fulfilled. The scripture will be fulfilled. Jesus said, I am thirsty. They gave him some wine. Now in the day of preparation, the next day, this is 31. The next day to be a special Sabbath because the Jewish leaders did not want the bodies left on the cross. During the Sabbath, they asked Pilate to have the legs broken and the bodies taken down. This should be recorded. We also have the burial of Jesus. We have 4 different books of Jesus' recordation biblically. The recordation of Jesus' death recorded biblically. Where does that match history? This is your boy Swab Boss, man. I'm out. I see y'all in the rebuttal round. Black Power.
All right, family. There you go. That's the end of the premise round. Let's get to the rebuttal real quick. All right, let's bring up Courtney. Let's get him together for his rebuttal. Will you be sharing your screen, Courtney?
Yeah, briefly. I may or may not ask you to take it down, but I will be sharing. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready whenever you start.
All right. Right after the bell.
All right. Before I go into my rebuttal, I just want to finish off with my initial slides. I hear Suave alluding to very what he thinks are damning issues to my position, but I don't think they're really that problematic. In all reality, I think he's coming from a radically skeptical position, offering a means to confirm or deny historical accuracy that's simply not not good for demonstrating history, or even assessing history. But real briefly, because if I'm not mistaken, he did mention the whole bones thing. So the bones of Jesus, I don't think these type of situations are actually problematic to my argument. Um, in all actuality, they're unreasonably high requests for an ancient individual. I would like to know, for example, do we have the bones of Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, Socrates, Josephus? Like, do we have any of these people's bones? Josephus is relevant because he's a Jew, first century. Do we have the bones of any of the individuals that are alleged to have been the high priest during that? We don't have their bones. This is a very weird understanding about ancient history and how to justify the not just existence, but if an individual died or not, right? So again, the best evidence that we usually have for people from this time period, the first century CE, is typically going to be documents, documentary evidence, literature. These written sources are usually coming from contemporaries or near contemporaries of the events. And that's the primary basis by which many things like this are investigated and justified. So again, a critical insight here is demanding for bones as proof, or demanding that all records have unanimous language, is just false. I don't know of any two independent accounts that record all events the exact same. Believing or not, again, I agree. The Gospels are not unanimous or univocal, speaking with absolute strict similitude as it relates to the death of Jesus. I also mentioned that those signs that were above Jesus' head in all four Gospels read different things. That's actually a point where they're not converging and just copying each other. They're not intentionally trying to dilute the situation. They may just be confirming what they have access to. And what they have access to is the information concerning historical events of the past. All right, so also, guys, we have to look at this issue. Do we have an ancient death record? Because in first century Judea, you really didn't have formal death certificates. The only way you get a formal death certificate is if somebody, again, documentedly writes about your death. And even though I didn't mention this secondary source as an example, I could use Mar Serapion, who mentions the king of the Jews was slain, and he's Assyrian. So then you have Assyrian, two Jewish sources, and a Roman. That's three different cultures, referring to the one event outside of the biblical authors of Jesus' death. And Mar Serapion, again, he's Assyrian. He's questionable as to his date because of some of the things he's talking about. But outside of that, it's pretty unanimous among scholars as well that Mar Serapion mentions the death of Jesus. And he's a Syrian author. Now, again, in historical methodology, the best evidence for a person's historical existence is often their death record. We have that for Jesus. Again, multiple different sources, 4 canonical gospels, these other sources. My opponent has not shown any evidence to the contrary. In fact, he's actually arguing from sources that account for Jesus's death, the primary sources, as if what they're talking about is not history. And according to all historical scholars, I don't care what theological belief system they're defending or not defending. All of them agree that the primary historical records for historical Jesus and his death are the Gospels. Okay? Now, very briefly, I'm going to get into some of the things that my opponent mentioned here. All right. Alrighty. So my opponent mentioned a couple of passages. He even alluded to the Matthew 27 situation, the zombie apocalypse. Again, our debate topic, let me get it all the way back up here. Our debate topic is the biblical story of Jesus' death historically accurate? My opponent apparently wants to debate if the miracles after his resurrection are historically accurate. He read it and didn't pay attention that he was speaking of post-death accounts. And again, he's assuming, without any evidence that this is a reasonable thing to do, he's assuming the best way to demonstrate history is with everybody saying the exact same things. So if his legs are broken in this account, it must be recorded in all the accounts for the events, which is the death of an individual via Roman government punishment, is not historical. This is the gist of our debate, is if the story of Jesus's death is historically accurate. The fact he brought up the zombie apocalypse in Matthew, I'm honestly shocked, because again, that's not relevant to our debate topic. Now, I wanted to debate miracles and stuff, but again, this was not part of our debate topic. It's okay to me. Now, again, my opponent, I don't think he has a good understanding of historical methodology either. He tried to define every word in our debate topic, except for biblical story of Jesus or death. He defined history. He defined, in his initial definition for what counts as history, used the term in it. So then he had to go to the other definition in Webster's to show that we're trying to be critical of the material at play. And I don't know if you guys realized that I've only used academic literature, with the exception of the AP classroom definition for historical accuracy. That was the only non-scholar that I used in tonight's debate. My opponent used 0 scholars, and he could have used some. He could have went to Richard Carrier. He could have even argued against and he might do this in his rebuttal. He could have argued against the Josephus account. So far, my opponent has 0 arguments against the historicity of these secondary accounts concerning Jesus's death. And he's only saying, as it relates to the primary sources, oh, well, they're not historically accurate if they don't all say the exact same thing. Again, he has to demonstrate that. Just saying it doesn't prove your case, Suave. You need to demonstrate your case. Okay? I would like to see evidence of this. I would like to see evidence from, it can be anywhere, except let's try to keep it within the region where we're debating Jesus. So let's try to keep it around Judea and during the same time period, please. Because again, we don't have bones. We don't even have the original documents for Josephus's works. We don't have the original manuscripts for any of these ancient authors. But this is a historical reality that's normal. This is a normative historical reality. We have what these authors wrote because their documents were preserved by communities, frequently by Christians, but occasionally by non-Christians. And it's interesting that these Christians do not add fluff to the authors in question. If my opponent wants to argue they did, as it relates to Josephus, we can deal with that in the cross-examination period. Tom Smith, the most recent major publication, Oxford University Press, has argued against that thesis. And I think he does so very convincingly, as well as many Josephus scholars agree. And by the way, who does Josephus get his information from? According to Smith, the Jews that were present at the crucifixion for Jesus and the trial scene in Mark 14, because Josephus claimed to have known them. Shouts out to the bar. Can't wait for the cross-examination round.
All right, family. There you go. That's the end of Courtney's rebuttal. Let's bring up Suave and let's get his clock together. You there, Suave?
Yes, mic check, mic check.
You good? You good? All right. You gonna be sharing your screen or anything? Or you good?
Yes, I'm going to be sharing my screen.
All right. Let me know whenever you're ready.
Absolutely.
All right. Right after the ready.
Yes.
All right. Right after the bell.
Okay. And so I would like I would on top of actually showing the definitions and going to the Bible to show you the biblical recordation, which is being tested today to be historically accurate, unlike the person who was supposed to provide you a premise. I would like to also show you just as a measurement, right? Um from oldest.org. Just pulling this up. 8 oldest recorded history in the world. The Chinese oracle bones, not just listen to this. I'm not gonna go through them all. It's not necessary. But the oracle bones from China contain ancient inscriptions that date to around the late second millennium BCE. The writing on the bones is called oracle bone script and is the oldest known form of writing from China. Most of the oracle bones that have been uncovered so far were found in Yingsu. Cool. One of the most important capitals. Bet. As the name suggests, the oracle bones were used to divination for divination during the Shang dynasty. The bones used came from animals including ox shoulder, blades, and flat under part of the turtle shell. This is looked at, accepted, tested, documented. It's historically accurate. The reforms of Ukraina, 2500 C to 2340. Check that date out. The Kesh Temple of Him, 2550 to 2520 BCE. Check the date out. All of these are except the seal of Perisben. Okay, a clay seal found in the tomb of Self Perisben, Peripsen, contains what is believed the earliest known full sentence writing hieroglyphics. And we know hieroglyphics is popular in Egypt, and here we have it. The earliest beer pay slip, 31C to 3000 BCE. Okay, we get it, right? So my point is to show you that history has been recorded for a very long time. We talking about something that's being recorded in 1 AD. No, that's the birth. In 30 AD. 2,000, 2,500 years after we know humans were recording history. Let's go to this because this was important and he wanted to skip this. Okay. Let me blow this up for y'all. For some reason, this is small as heck. Okay. So this is from the source. This is from NASA. Eclipse history. Okay. And the oldest recorded eclipse in human history may have been around November 30th, 3340 BCE. A series of spiral shaped and circular petroglyphs were found at the Loon Cliff Megalith Monument in County Meath, Ireland. This is Ireland. Petroglyphs are rock carvings made of pecking in the stone. Around 1200 BCE, scribes in Anyang, China, recorded eclipse on oxen shoulder, blades, and tortoise shells called oracle bones. In these eclipse records, the scribe said the sun has been eaten. This is a recordation of an eclipse. Okay. A mysterious human species may have been the first to bury their dead. This is an account of burial. Okay. Someone dies, they get buried. The Son of Man, God in the flesh, come down, dies, get this special tomb given to him, should be recorded, right? And so, over 100,000 years ago, what we have is that the skeletal remains discovered in the cave are concentrated in a single, hard to reach subsystem and are dated between 335,000 to 241,000 years ago. So, between a quarter million years ago, we have people burying the dead and it's being discovered, right? On accident a lot of these times. Okay, let's get rid of that. And so then what I would like to bring in And this is the world of paleoanthropology. Okay, graves in the dark, what hominin burials really mean. Okay, and so I want to take you to this piece down here where it says, for our species, the record is equally intriguing. As of Kafset and Ska in Israel, burials from 100,000 to 120,000 years ago reveal deliberate interments, some with ochre and objects. Children and adults alike were carefully placed, sometimes in flex position. In 2025, the discoveries at the Timshep Cave in Israel added further weight. Multiple burials dating to roughly 100,000 years ago. 100,000 years ago. Okay. Let me completely get rid of all of this. I don't need to show my screen anymore. So, 100,000 years ago, 250,000 years ago, we have the recordation of just average people dying and being buried. Now we have a biblical story, the Bible, which I showed you. My opponent didn't, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, which says that this man who is to believe by my opponent is God in the flesh, is the Son of God. Once in a lifetime, and a lot of people knew about him, not just the 12 disciples, but a lot of people knew about him. And on top of that, the clothes that was ripped from him is impressive. The sign that was written above his head is impressive. The tomb he was laid in is impressive. The stone that was rolled away, not impressive. None of the things that are connected to the biblical death of Jesus are present. Now he can claim he's talking about stuff post-death. It's connected to the death. Death is a very complex thing, but we all recognize what it is. There's things that lead to your death, things that are present during your death, and things that come from your death. And those things are recorded. And instead of going to the Bible and showing you what Jesus' death is, and then going into history, going into those sources he claimed he had, he just preached. He wants evidence from me. He's the affirmative. He said he wants evidence from me. Of what? I want evidence from you. He's appealing to race by saying, yeah, even black people, that's not I guess you thought because I was black power, I'm always blinded by that. No. So yelling black power conveniently doing your round don't do nothing. He called me a radically skeptic. No, this is the line of question that anybody would have for you. Okay, you made these very bold claims. Where's the evidence that support these claims? All right. He's not saying any of these people. Listen, he brought up, the bones of Josephus. Josephus was his source. He came in and questioned the source that he had. He said, Josephus is one of my sources. And he said, but Josephus isn't accurate historically because we don't have his bone and his writings contradict history that we know to be proven. What is that? I'm not saying any of these other people that you quoted are historically accurate. I'm questioning whether the story of Jesus' death biblically is historically accurate. And I argue from nothing but the Bible because the debate is the biblical story of Jesus' death historically accurate? And so I'm coming from the Bible like you should, but you abandoned the Bible. And he said, I got a lot of academic sources. None of them argue this point. First of all, I'm tired of these AI slides where people just put this argument in and they come out in this pretty picture with these bunch of words scrunched up on the screen. And you cannot focus long enough while they switch between slides to even retain the information. And so his slides just show he didn't have control of the information. He just brought up something that he knew and I guess because he has a past in debating this that he thought I was coming from some angle, but no. Historically accurate is defined, and those AI slides just won't do what they would do with me. It was too much information on the screen, and according to the information he had when you read it, it was really just an opening after the opening. It was suggesting things. He never got to the point of proving what he was saying. He never went to the Bible. He undermined his own sources. The dude said he's looking for evidence from me when he's the affirmative. This is just ridiculous. And I would appreciate if he just changes his whole stance during the question and answer round, because we about to get into his question and answer round, which is ridiculous. I went to the Bible and I showed you very significant claims that the Bible made. It's on him to show you that that is historically accurate. Black Power, shout out to the AOI, man. It's the boy Swab Boss, man. Let's get it.
All right, family. That's the end of the rebuttal round. We can get ready to get into the rapid fire round. So let's get into that real quick. All right, let's bring these two brothers up here. Courtney will be interrogating Suave first. Let me get this clock together. Are y'all two brothers ready?
Ready.
Yes.
All right. Right after the bell, we can get started. All right. Let's go.
What's going on, Suave? How you doing tonight?
That's irrelevant to the debate.
Beautiful. I appreciate that answer. Can you define for us what circular reasoning is?
No.
Interesting. Are you using the Bible to prove the Bible in tonight's debate?
No.
You said you were only going to use the Bible to prove that Jesus is not historically dead, though. That was literally what you just got done arguing. Am I wrong?
When did I say I was going to only use the Bible to prove that Jesus?
What other sources did you use tonight?
I also use NASA. I use National.
How did the NASA reference even address the death of Jesus?
Repeat your question.
How did you adjust what you pulled up off of the internet? How did any of that address the death of Jesus?
Okay, give me time to address this, please. Because during Jesus' death, there was a blackout for 3 hours from noon to 3.
Are you saying that event's not recorded outside of the Bible?
Yes, I am.
Oh, well, I'm sorry you're misinformed, but it actually is.
Time to answer the question. But
yeah, and it's time for me to ask you questions. Would you agree that circular reasoning is using a source to prove the source itself?
No, you didn't show that, nor is that.
I was just asking if you would agree that is an analogy for what.
Did you understand my answer? Did you understand my answer?
Did you understand the question?
Yes. You asked me
the question.
I didn't ask you to repeat the question. I want to answer.
That's fine. It's time for me to ask you questions. So the question again is, would you agree that this is a fair analogy for circular reasoning to use a source in order to prove what the source you're using says?
Yes.
Okay. How did you not apply circular reasoning for the justification of your premise tonight?
I'm the negative. You're the affirmative.
I'm asking you a question, sir. How did you not apply circular reasoning to justify your own premise tonight?
Yeah, no. I'm disproving the source.
Okay. How did you not use circular reasoning?
Because I'm not the affirmative.
Okay. Do you think I use circular reasoning?
No, you avoided.
Interesting. So I didn't use circular reasoning. Cool. Did I use any sources that confirm the death of Jesus?
No.
That are not biblical sources?
No.
So Josephus doesn't say Jesus was killed by Pilate?
Where did you show that?
I showed that in my slides. I actually read each source's quotation concerning the death of Jesus. Do you remember?
Josephus pseudo.
Josephus is pseudo. Why do you say Josephus is pseudo?
I'm asking you, is Josephus pseudo?
It's not your turn to ask questions. Why do you say Josephus is pseudo?
For the same reason that you say he's pseudo, because
I didn't claim he was pseudo. That's interesting. Speaking of Josephus, though, I will ask you concerning you said I asked you to prove Josephus. I didn't ask you that. What I was asking you was to use the same standard with Josephus that you would for Jesus, as it is in tonight's debate. Would you say we have any secondary or primary sources for Josephus' death?
No, Josephus has nothing.
We don't have. So how do we know about his death?
Good job. Yeah, no, Joseph has nothing to do with me affirming my premise.
That's cool. Aren't we dealing with historical accuracy?
Yes, absolutely.
And historical accuracy deals with not just one source, but the convergence, as I argued, the convergence of the materials as it relates to events of the past and their facts, correct?
I could assume so, but we could
Okay, so since I provided 7 sources, and from what I hear, you never said the Gospels do not affirm Jesus' death via crucifixion by Pontius Pilate. Am I correct?
repeat your main point in your questions.
Do all 4 of the Gospels record the death of Jesus?
They record events that surround Jesus'
Do
death.
they also record his death?
3 of them do. Yes.
Which gospel doesn't record his death?
Mark.
Mark doesn't record his death. Did you read Mark 15?
Matthew.
It's explicitly mentioned in Mark 15, sir.
Matthew. It's
Matthew
Mark.
in chapter 20. It's right there. You literally were about to read it, but you jumped over it.
I mean, it was in my premise, and so I mean, you can understand it how you want to, but I'm telling you that I just simply have a different understanding of you when it comes to Jesus' death and historical accuracy proved by the Bible.
Cool, but we're talking about historical accuracy, not biblical proofs. If this was simply is the Bible true,
we're talking about the
we would have had that debate, but sadly, you didn't even offer me that debate topic for this debate. Here's another question: do you know of any people from Judea during the 1st century with a quote unquote death record?
Me personally, no. I was born in 1979.
Okay. Would you say if multiple different sources confirm somebody's death, that's the equivalent of an ancient death record?
No, if multiple biblical sources do it, it's just a lie.
I'm speaking about the 3 or 4 now, since I also mentioned Marbar Serapion. So that's the Talmudic source.
You mentioned it, but you didn't show it. You mentioned a lot of stuff, but you didn't show nothing.
I mentioned specifically 3, and I cited all 3 of them.
You mentioned
I know you want to talk over what I presented, but
I want to answer questions. You just tried to go on a ramble.
Are you denying that I supplied more than just the Bible in tonight's debate?
I'm saying you didn't use the Bible in tonight's debate, which is
didn't I share a resource saying the primary sources for the death of Jesus are the Gospels?
Repeat it again.
Didn't I share a source citing the primary sources for Jesus's death and crucifixion are the Gospels?
Yes, but you didn't lean on them.
Do you remember the name of that source?
It was the hold on, wait, give me about 45 seconds. I'll remember.
In the meantime, I'll get ready to ask you another question, okay?
That's fine.
You found the answer?
Hey, everybody hit that like button out there. Real talk, man.
You found the answer?
Yeah, no, it's 25 more seconds. You mean?
Oh, okay. In the meantime, what counts as a historical death record?
A historical death record?
Yes, sir. From the first century. It
depends on what timeline you're talking about.
First century Judea. Do you have any people that we can confirm through multiple?
Yeah, you would have at least a tomb. It would be a tomb.
At least a tomb. Do we have a tomb for James, the brother of Jesus?
No, because he's not historically
accurate. James, the brother of Jesus, exist in your perspective?
No, he wasn't historically accurate either. Sorry.
He's not historically accurate? How is he not historically accurate? There's only one source concerning his death.
There's no historical.
There's only one singular source, and it's not a biblical source because his death isn't accounted for in the Bible. Did you know that?
Did you show any sources?
Yes, I actually cited Josephus.
Did you show any sources?
I cited Josephus. Yes, I did. I shared the Gospels.
Which Gospel?
All 4. I even mentioned in particular how
all 4 mentioned the death of Jesus.
It's actually time for me to ask you questions.
I know, but you just died. All 4 mentioned the death of Jesus.
2 more minutes to answer questions.
You have to answer this question to continue. Did all 4 mention the death of Jesus?
You don't have any examples? You don't have any examples of an ancient 1st century Jewish death that's multiply attested?
Yes.
Can you name one individual that's attested in multiple sources concerning their death from the 1st century Judea?
Absolutely. If it was my if it was
interesting, you don't have a comparative, you don't have a historical contrasting analogy. That's amazing. especially
I
for
got it.
debating history. That's amazing. Let's see.
You got like 12
Name.
more minutes left, fam.
Yep. Can you name your sources one more time for me? The academic sources that you presented for tonight's debate concerning the death of
academic
Jesus?
sources. It was one from NASA, right?
It didn't mention the death of Jesus, but yes, you did share that.
Did you see the historical recordation of eclipses?
Yes,
That
it
the
didn't
sky
address
blacked
Jesus.
out.
It did not
So-
address Jesus. If we were
Okay.
debating if there was a historical eclipse, that would have been a relevant issue.
Yeah, okay. By the
Then you
time
would
he
have found
woke
out
up,
through your
man,
research
saved
that
you,
this
bro.
is not Google scholarship, sir.
The Google scholarship. What
Yeah,
is
I haven't supplied anything from Google.
Are
Search.
you implying I'm using Google scholarship, sir?
We saw you literally pull up the Google links that got you to Merriam-Webster.
And we literally saw you have a whole AI debate.
I did not have
all
an
of
AI
your class was
presentation.
you typed
You
nothing.
can bring that up in 30
You
seconds.
arranged
Okay?
nothing. You
Do you have
screenshotted nothing. You
do we have any bones? Do we have any bones from anybody of the first century? What about Herodotus? Do we have Herodotus's bones?
Herodotus was not from the first century.
Okay, cool. Do we have his
Herodotus
bones?
was 300 BCE. So why would you even ask? Do we have Herodotus bones from the
Why
first?
wouldn't we? You're making it seem like we
You
should.
just passed away. You're no longer with
You're
us,
making
man.
it
Shout
seem
out to
like
the
we should,
AOI.
sir.
This
Thank
is
you. I can't
Squad
wait to
Black
deal
Power
with your
Man.
questions in this cross-examination period.
Oh, man, what are you talking about?
All right. That's the end of Courtney's rapid fire. Let's bring these two brothers back up so Suave can interrogate Courtney. Let me get his clock together.
Yeah.
All right. Let me know whenever you're ready, Suave.
Understood. And so, brother.
What's that? You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Right
after the ring car girl. Yes, Courtney.
Yes, sir.
Do you agree to be 100% truthful during this question and answer round?
Yes.
And if you are lying at any point, can we just all concede that you are a piece of crap and don't deserve the name that you have?
No.
No. Okay. So you're willing to lie. Okay. So
I'm not willing to lie. I'm glad you asked.
Okay. No.
You want me to repeat my answer?
That was just my conclusion. Are the Red Lobster cups purchasable?
This is relevant to tonight's debate. Can you
But
please
it shows, I would like the judges to know. I would like the judges to know. This is why it's relevant to this debate. Because he's been drinking out of a Red Lobster cup and they're not purchasable. Meaning he stole the Red Lobster. He's showing it. He's proud of being dishonest. He stole that Red Lobster cup. And so this is who this is in real life when we're talking about the biblical.
Notice he's not addressing the topic.
Wait, my question is this, sir.
Judges.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. My question is this. Excuse me, sir. My question is this. You dishonest, face hiding person, you. This is what I'm going to ask you.
Ad hominem attacks are not irrelevant.
Was Jesus a real person?
Yes.
Okay. In the first century AD?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a birth certificate for him?
Yes or
no? Yes or no? Yes or no? Do you have a record? Do you have a birth certificate?
I don't know why you're talking over my answer. I gave
because I'm asking you yes or no.
I gave you 45 seconds. It's not a
yes or no. I'm not giving you 45 seconds to lie. Yes or no? Do you have a birth certificate?
I do, but I'm not in the first century, and I'm not.
You didn't introduce that in your premise. Do you have a death certificate?
I didn't. I'm alive.
Sir, do you have a death certificate? Yes or no?
I'm alive, so no, I do not have a death certificate.
Do you have a death certificate or proof of a death certificate for Jesus Christ? Yes or no?
We historically do. As I mentioned, we have.
You should have shown that in your premise. Okay, I asked
you.
I
did.
Did Jesus was Jesus crucified on the cross, sir?
According to Josephus, Tacitus.
According to you, Josephus and Tacitus is not debating. According to you, brother Courtney, did Jesus die on the cross?
For historical context, I know you want to have a circular argument, and
sir, did Jesus have a cross?
I'm going to put this into the nature of tonight's debate topic. Yes,
sir.
Jesus, according to the
Okay.
primary and
Yes,
secondary
right.
sources,
Okay.
Jesus
Do
was
you have
executed.
Jesus cross today?
Oh no, we don't have
Okay.
crosses from
Was
anybody.
there a sign placed above Jesus' head in 3 different languages, claiming that he was from Israel and he was the king of the Jews? Yes or no?
Uh, as I stated in my
Yes or no,
presentation,
sir? This is not your time to
I'm
present
glad,
a presentation.
I'm glad
When
I'm
you
not
had the chance to do that, you did an opening.
answer.
Yes or no? Was there a sign above Jesus' head in 3 different languages?
Would you like the answer?
Yes.
Beautiful. So yes, there was, and all 4 of the gospels record different
Okay.
words.
Do you have that sign today?
No.
Okay. Was Jesus' clothes torn into 4 different pieces?
This clothes definitely were ripped according to the primary source material.
Do you have any piece of those clothing?
Do I have any piece of his clothing?
Yes.
No. I
No,
do not.
nobody saved. Not a
I do not
shrapnel
agree.
of Jesus.
I do
Piece of clothing. Okay.
not agree. I do not
Did the
agree.
earth?
I
Okay.
can give you an
Did
answer.
the earth go dark during Jesus' death? After
Are you
Jesus'
listening to the answer?
death, did the earth go dark for 3 hours during Jesus' death?
According to the primary sources, indubitably. That means
Okay.
yes
Do
to
you
the
have
absolute.
any historical proof that the earth went dark during Jesus'
We
death?
have one non-biblical account of this event occurring in the 1st century.
I'll give you 15 seconds. Who?
It was a Roman author. I don't know him off the top of my head, but we actually do have
Okay.
that account.
Is the Passover always during the full moon?
Off the top of my head, I'm not familiar.
Yes. The Passover is always during the full moon.
Well, it's always during the hot Sabbath.
Can a solar eclipse happen during the full moon?
Can a solar eclipse happen during a full moon?
Yeah.
According to the text, it did happen.
No. According to the text, there's no mention of eclipse.
According to the text, the primary source material,
Okay.
it did happen.
So I would like the judges to note that solar eclipse only happens during the new moon, which the event that's spoken biblically happened during the full moon and only happens during the full moon. Therefore, it couldn't have been an eclipse. Okay.
I would like the audience
as
and
far as historical
demonstrate that claim. He's just
Okay.
making an assertion.
Why didn't you read one script from the Bible? I give you 15 seconds. Doing your preface.
Yes, I actually did. That's the interesting thing about it. I did read one script from the Bible.
Okay.
I read that all 4 of the Gospels. This is part of the biblical script. All 4 of the Gospels affirm the death of Jesus.
That's hard.
That means a crucifixion.
Understood. If I had to ask you, put one thing on the table that is related to the accuracy of Jesus' death, what would you put on that table?
Related to, oh yes. One thing I will put the account of Josephus up there.
Okay. Did you or did you not question Josephus in your rebuttal round?
No, I did not question his historicity. I questioned you for acting as if the only way you prove stuff is by using the primary sources. And I demonstrated that would be circular reasoning in the cross-examination round.
Okay.
That's circular reasoning on your part, not mine.
Okay, bet. Is there any historical accuracy for Josephus?
Yes.
15 seconds.
I said yes, there's historical accuracy for Josephus.
15 seconds. Could you just mention it?
For one, the death of Jesus is widely attested and even recorded by him. And guess where he got his information from? According to Tom Smith,
No, I'm asking
I'm getting his information from the people that executed Jesus.
Okay, so fine. So you have no cross. You have none of the quarters of his clothes.
As I
Do you have the thorn crown? Do you have the thorn crown of Jesus?
Yeah, exaggerated requests for historical issues. No,
we're only talking about the recording king of the Jews.
As I demonstrated
who did a resurrection. You telling me, okay, how many disciples did Jesus have?
Last I checked, our debate topic is not the number of disciples of Jesus.
Okay, absolutely. But what I'm saying is historically accurate. And if Jesus had over 1,000 people living contemporarily to him that were described as disciples, wouldn't you find more validity to the historically accuracy of Jesus' death if it was recorded by the people who was contemporarily to him, and instead of people who came years later?
All history is written retrospectively.
Did
And as
Jesus
it
have
relates to
okay?
the
Yes or
gospels,
no?
they're written.
Yes or no? Did Jesus have?
I defend the gospels were written by disciples or apostles, save Luke and
Understood.
Mark.
Understood. And so, outside of showing nothing historically accurate, after avoiding the scriptures, after just making assumptions based on the fact that, hey, I have some authority to appeal to, you have nothing, zero, zilch, not a scritch, not a smithet, not a dust, not a of evidence that Jesus' death is historically accurate.
Lying about the information presented tonight does not give you an advantage. The fact of the matter is, I did demonstrate through non-biblical sources a convergence of testimony concerning the death of an individual, namely Jesus, under the hands of Pontius Pilate by means of crucifixion during the first century in Judea.
Okay, so let me give you a chance to swing for the fences. According to either Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John, could you provide to me one piece of evidence, literal evidence, physical evidence, not belief, not guesstimation, not assumption, of Jesus' death?
I've already provided 3 non-biblical witnesses to the very same event: a Roman, a Jewish, and even a Syrian. That's 3 different cultures.
And what archaeological? Thank you for
3
that.
different cultures.
Okay,
being
and so
represented.
what evidence do you have to support their argument?
Well, number one, the literary sources themselves. The primary way we would demonstrate
No.
this type of
Did
information
you just tell me you're supporting a
means of
literary source within itself? Hold on, wait, calm down.
evidence. That's correct.
You just brought 3 literary sources. I asked you, what is the
7.
evidence of
I
these?
brought 7 and I added
No,
1.
you just highlighted 3.
I brought 7 and I added 1.
Okay, hold on.
4
You just
Gospels,
highlighted
2
Sir,
Jewish,
you're
1
flailing. This
Roman,
is called
and
panicking.
1 Syrian. I brought
You
7,
just brought a
added 1.
source to
I brought a
support
total of
the
8
source.
sources that converge on the same fact.
Show me one historical relevancy to this debate. Show me one thing.
Historical accuracy deals with the convergence of historical facts of the past or events. All of these evidence converge.
Okay, show me one fact of Jesus' death.
His death. He's the most widely attested death of any Jew from the first century.
That's not a.
All right, family. All right, there you go. That's the end of the rapid fire round. Let's get ready for the closing. All right, and let's bring up Swab. He'll be closing out first. Let me see. You gonna be sharing your screen, Swab?
No, there's no need.
Okay, let me know when you're ready.
Here tonight. I'm ready, brother. After the ring card, girl.
All right, you are ready.
Okay. And as attractive as the AI ring card girl was, it was fake, just like my opponent's premise. His whole presentation was an AI composed argumentation of what he would like for you all to believe is the truth. What we saw here today is him coming to his opening, say completely nothing, going to his premise and give a weak opening, just showing what he would like for you to believe is true without bringing any evidence of it. 10 minutes of it. 10 minutes for 10 minutes. He brought you super micro composed AI slides that had so much information on it, you couldn't take a note. You couldn't retain the information. And it was so bland. It was so broad. It led you to come to your own assumptions within his argumentation. He never narrowed it down. He never said, this is what makes this historically accurate. He said, if you believe like I believe, I've shown you enough to come to the conclusion, which will probably have nothing to do with my conclusion. If you and him got into it, y'all will disagree. But he left it up on the believers to assume that they believe like he believed. Okay. So I took you into what's historically accurate. And I showed you several records of things being recorded, all the way down to Herodotus, where the sunken city was found because Herodotus wrote about it. Archaeologists didn't know about it. They found out about his writings, and then, according to what he said the city was, they looked and found a sunken city of gold. We're talking about claims of God, the creator of the universe, coming down in the flesh and representing himself as the Son of God. Prophesized. People was ready for this. This is not a handful of people gathered around some random man's death. This is thousands of people waiting on one man to gather hundreds of thousands of people to record this man's death. We have not one original literary source. He thought that was smart giving that up. He said, we don't have no original script. Yeah. I guess you was used to the old style of debating. I know that. That's already defeated. You have no original scripts. Josephus is questionable. The Bible, the original source, cannot be used as a source, as a supportive source. You tried to avoid that conversation so much, you didn't want to go into the Bible. Whereas the negative, I have the freedom to do that. And I go into the Bible and I have the courage to show you what the Bible claims to be Jesus' death, what led to his death, what is his death, and what came from his death. And none of these things are historically backed up. Sorry. He went into argumentation, and that's all he had. Argumentation on top of argumentation, which sometimes contradicted itself. It went into you not being able to have bones. And then he showed you bones of other people. He asked you, who do you have in 1 AD that died? And it showed you people in 1 AD that died. How do you not have evidence? The tomb. Remember, the tomb. The tomb was given to him by Joseph Arimathea, who was part of the council that voted him to death. So this was a very prestigious person. That would have been recorded. If we're recording information 3,500 years ago, 2,000 years ago, one of the tombs of the most prestigious people in the Roman Council would have been saved. We don't have the ball that was rolled away. We don't have his clothes that was ripped. We don't have a sign above his head. We don't got his sandals. We don't got nothing. What we have is a belief in a very antiquated system that needs to be dismissed. We are more mature as a species now, and this is not enough evidence to render this historically accurate. Sorry. Shout out to y'all. Thanks for coming. Hit the like button. Please share if you have a page. Like I said, shout out to the ARI, man. Shout out to the Barbarians, man. Shout out to Psycho Angel, Dr. Mo, CSB. This is boy Swab. Shout out to Court, my opponent, man. And shout out to y'all, the people. Hit the like button and share this, man. Black Power. We out.
All right, family, there you go. That's the end of Suave's closing. Let's bring up Courtney so he can close the rest of this out. Let me get his clock together. All right, Courtney, let me know whenever you're ready. You gonna be sharing your you don't look like it.
I'm not sharing.
Okay. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready when you are.
Okay, right after that.
All right, guys. Again, thank everybody for coming to tonight's debate. Just to remind y'all one more time, what was tonight's debate topic? Is the biblical story of Jesus' death historically accurate? My opponent wanted to debate, does the Bible use the exact same words as describing his crucifixion event, which still negates if the event was historical or not? And he never presented an argument that it was ahistorical. He took it for granted. The only argument he gave was a request for evidence. He requested, and I'm going to suggest he requested, I guess, out of ignorance, to be shown bones, sandals, clothing. Now, honestly, the clothing stuff, the shroud, That's allegedly out there. I do not think it's a historical artifact dating back to the time of Jesus, so I don't utilize it. That type of evidence does exist to the very, very fundamentalist believer, in many Roman Catholics. That's not me. I actually have gone to school for some of these things, which is interesting because we heard a lot of ad hominems, more about a presentation allegedly being constructed from Google. I did not share anything from a chat GTP creation or any chat box with any of my sources. I actually own most of these literary sources, and if Suave wants to see them, I could give him access to them. I can give him more than 4,000 books right now if he wants them. It's not a problem for me to share that type of information. Nonetheless, getting back to tonight's topic, because our debate topic is not, oh, did he use ChatGTP or some type of editorial creator for his slides? I didn't. Tonight's debate, again, is the biblical story of Jesus' death historically accurate? My argument, just to sum it back up again, you got four primary sources, according to the Concordia reference source Columbia Encyclopedia from Columbia University Press, 2018, that lists the primary sources for Jesus' life, teaching, and his death under Pilate via crucifixion are the four Gospels. I shared the primary sources. That's what they got to say. I also shared tonight, in my slides, I presented three, but in my initial rebuttal, I added one additional author because Suave made a request. By the way, every request Suave asked has been demonstrated to him. Oh, we need three cultures: Greek, Jewish, Syrian. So I gave multiple sources concerning the very same event from independent authors. He said Josephus was questionable. He didn't even argue how or where. You can't just be that radically skeptical without an actual demonstration, beloved. I wish he did provide arguments, because if he did, we might have had a little bit more engagement on the data that was presented in tonight's debate. My opponent also wanted to try to suggest I didn't share any evidence. I didn't share any proof. The reason why I asked him to prove using the same standards Josephus, show us Josephus's original documents. They no longer exist. Show us a piece of article from Josephus. Why would I be asking him to be consistent in his application of evidentiary request? Probably because he knew he was arguing from an inconsistent justification, an inconsistent premise. This is what Suave, I think, ultimately realized, and he gave up tonight's debate. Yeah, I didn't argue circularly. The Bible says that Jesus was crucified, therefore it's historically true Jesus was crucified. My opponent argued the Bible says it. My opponent didn't use the Bible, therefore I'm going to say that this is not history. He didn't even demonstrate how it is in history. Just waving it with your hand doesn't make it go away. We have more than biblical sources concerning the death of Jesus, and that's what I emphasize. And again, the death of Jesus is the most widely attested death of antiquity.
All right, family, there you go. That's the end of the debate. And just in case you're new here, we actually had two judges behind the scenes, analyzing all the arguments, breaking down all the talking points, and now they currently tallying up all their points so they can come up with a decision on who the winner is, right? And just in case you're new here again, we also have a third judge, and that third judge is no other than yourselves, right? The live chat. So yes, family, y'all will get a chance to vote, and y'all have a limited amount of time to get those votes in. So please get those votes in. Don't forget that the like too. I agree with the statements earlier. Like, we gotta get these likes up. Seriously, y'all. Seriously, can we get it's the likes are free 99. The likes are free, 99. It's cheap. It don't cost you nothing. All right. So can we please get the likes up. Now, with that being said, I'm also going to need y'all to click one more thing because I'm about to get these polls out here. And y'all got a short amount of time. So please get your votes in. And then once that happens, I'm going to come back and we're going to get the decision out there. We're going to find out who won. All right, family. So let's get ready to get into that. And I'll be right back. All right, with the decision. Let's go.
Here they come, yo. Here they come. Here they come, yo. Here they come. Here they come. This or that. 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 This or that.
Yo, who's the black sheep? What's the black sheep? No, not who I am or when I'm coming, so you sleep. Wasn't in my realm or wasn't in your sphere. Knew not who I was, but listen here. Dress, D.A.B.A.T.E, yes, I guess I can start. If it's alright with you, I'll rip this head joint apart. Back middle to the front, don't front. Want a good time, wanna give you what you want. Can I hear a hey? Can I get it, yo? You got a hat, it's for the house. The styling is creative, black sheep of the native. Can be violated or even decepticated. I got brothers in the jungle, cousins on the quest. Dead-retorted uncles and people may they rest. Guess which way, what, when, how? Mr. Long Dress, black sheep slam now. Know you heard the others, phonies to the lovers. Then of course, the choice is yours.
You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can get with that. I think you get with this, cause this is where it's at. You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can get with that. I think you get with this, cause this is kind of fat.
Where's the black sheep? Here's the black sheep. Even if we wanted to, the flock cannot be weak. Watch me swing like this. Why should I swing it like that? Because in fact, on me it might not attract. Therefore I ignore, do as I feel inside. I live with me, I've got my back tonight, you know what I'm saying? Yo, black, I'm not playing. Need to go with this and go with this with no delay. And see, in actuality, wonder can it be? I made it look easy because it is to me. Anytime capacity was filled, tried to rock it. Anytime my honey gave us play, tried to knock it. Never was a fool, so we finished school. Never see us sweat and you'll never see us drool. Out to rock the globe while it's still here to rock. Don't punch girls and we don't punch a clock. Gotta go, see you later by the cat. And you can't beat that with a bat.
You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can get with that. I think you get with this, cause this is where it's at. You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can get with that. I think you get with this, cause this is kind of fat.
Engine number 9 on the New York Transit line. If my train goes off the track, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Back on the scene, crispy and clean. You can try, but then why? Cause you can't intervene. We be the outcast, down for the settle. Won't play rock, won't play the pebble. Open the door, you best believe we're sliding through it swiftly. Niftily, we can make it hip to be. What we're all cause, what we be. Be the epitome, D.A.B.A.T.E.
So now I dwell just to say you plain up. Hold your cup cause I got the container. Pass a plate up, cross the fader. Black sheep can play like the Sony Innovator. Never the traitor, party inflator. And you can get a scoop later.
You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can get with that. I think you get with this, cause this is kind of fat. You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can get with that. I think you get with this, cause this is where it's at, where it's at, where it's at.
science. I'm dropping 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 science.
All right, family, and there you go. Let's see. Let's bring these brothers back up here, and let's see. As y'all can see from the live chat, family, let's see. We had 55 votes, and let's see. Courtney won 73%. Suave had 27. So Courtney got the chat vote, and I got the judges' decision here. And let's see, we got both judges going for Courtney. So Courtney got the win tonight. Congratulations. Shout out to Courtney. What's going on, Courtney?
Hey, first and foremost, black power to the beautiful and fantastic. Hey, hold up. My boy tried to catch me though. I see you.
Don't call me beautiful. It's all good though, man. I understand, man.
Hey, I appreciate it though. Shouts out to everybody in the audience. Shouts out to the platform. Big ups to the bar. Again, everybody give it up to Suave. He did a great job tonight.
Man, congratulations to you, man. I definitely guess I didn't, but congratulations to you though. And shout out to the judges, shout out to Psycho, shout out to the people. Black power.
Black power.
My bad, I was on mute. That's what's up. And yes, family, just in case you was wondering, right after this, we're going to have the judges breakdown show, so y'all can get to hear all the what the judges how they came to their decisions and what their thought processes was when tallying up the votes. That will be right after this, so be on the lookout for that. And right after that, we're going to have the after party. And that's where everybody gets to come up, argue, say who's wrong and everything else. And y'all know how that go. But yeah, let's see. So before we get ready to get up out of here, let's see. Swab, you have something you want to say before we get out of here?
Man, yeah, man. Shout out to everybody in attendance, man. Judges, people, debaters, whoever you is, man. Keep debating alive is very important, man. And yeah, Black Power, man. Shout out to the ARI. Shout out to my people, man. Keep y'all head up so y'all see the bullshit coming, man. This boy Swap Bombs. We out.
All right, you all ready? And let's see. Courtney, you got something you want to say before we get out of here?
Shouts out to Suave. Shouts out to the platform. Big up to the Debate League. Shouts out to the bar. Shouts out to the audience. Everybody like, comment, subscribe, and share. Get these views and likes up, y'all. What are y'all doing?
Yeah, definitely get those likes up. But yeah, so yeah, I appreciate both of y'all for coming up and putting on the show tonight. And hopefully I'll catch y'all at the after party.
Bad nigga. Hats off, man.
All right. Shout out to both of y'all. I'll catch y'all at the after party. All right. That's what's up.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to both debaters. I appreciate both of them for coming up here, putting on the show. And like I said, family, the judges breakdown show will be right after this. So y'all get to hear how the judges came up with their conclusions. And then after that, we're going to have the after party. And I'm sure we're going to talk about this a whole lot more. So yes. So let's get ready to get into that. And yes, family, before we go though, family, before I go, I mean, I need y'all to do me a favor. And I need y'all to please do me a favor. And please click like, share, and subscribe It's very important that you click like. It gets us in the algorithm. It's also important that you share. It lets people know that we're breathing. And it's also important that you subscribe, right? And after you subscribe, family, please don't forget to hit that notification bell. It's very important to hit that notification bell so you can be notified whenever we do go live, and you can get here bright and early. Don't miss none of the show, and then you can be a part of the notification game, right? And yes, to the haters out there, you already know where it is. It's about that time. And I'm assuming it's about at least 30 of y'all, right? So now, if y'all want to express yourself, you can do so now by please clicking dislike. Please still share this though. Don't be selfish. And you might want to think about unsubscribing, right? Because if you had any issues with anything that you heard here tonight, you best believe you're going to hear some more again later. And you might as well go ahead and get it on out the way right now. And yeah, family, please head over to the Black Building and hit the description and hit that link. That'll be in the description. That's where the after party will be. So please head over there. And yes, family, please follow me on all social medias at SYKOPATHeist, spelled the same way as the channel. And yeah, family, as always, I want to shout out everybody out in the live chat. I appreciate all y'all for coming through. Shout out to Mod Deep. I also want to shout out both debaters for coming up on here, putting on the show. Shout out to Suave and congratulations to Courtney. And I also want to shout out everybody that was out in the clouds, that was just listening and being nosy. Even you hate watchers who are my biggest fans and listen to every word I say. I want to give a peace and black power to everybody out there. Holla black at your boy. I'm out.
On shit, real niggas who I get it on with. When I'm around, my colleagues ain't comfortable. They all gotta sit with my verses for a month or two. Wrong nigga to have a problem with. The blade first and the bullet gon'